primarily a day, Brock, to talk about your Seattle Mariners who have brought back the good vibes. The vibes are back. Eugenio Suarez is here. The rights have been wronged. Or the wrongs have been righted. I guess that's what it is. It rights the wrong, honestly. I do think so. I think what they did a couple of years ago was wrong.
Yeah.
At the time, I understood why they were doing it. They were coming off a year with too many strikeouts and all the problems that went down that year, and they felt like they needed to make changes. And so out goes Teoscar Hernandez, and out goes Eugenio Suarez. And he did not have a great year that year, and he was, he's an older player, and, can you take that money and spend it better? And they tried to do that. They spent it on Mitch Garver. They spent it on, unfortunately, Urias. It didn't go anywhere. And Gino nearly got cut in Arizona half a season into that whole thing, and they would have acquired him back for nothing.
Yeah.
Instead, Gino became the best power hitter in baseball over the next year, and now you got to spend quite a bit to get him back. But they did.
Yeah.
And they got him back yesterday, and as of this morning, for the third time in 4 years, I think you would argue the Mariners have had the best trade deadline of anybody.
Well, they've had the biggest. I mean, they've made the most headlines. My phone blowing up last night after dinner, just with kind of baseball friends, sports friends, just counterparts kind of across the country. Gambo even giving me a call. I couldn't take the call. I'll have to tell him.
Yeah.
I was a little busy. But there's just no question from just, if this were the NFL draft, Salk, or if this were NFL free agency, as we're here in an NFL building, that these would be the top headlines, right? These would be the conversations. This is the main storyline. The Mariners are all in. The Mariners follow through on what Jerry DiPoto has said the last week. The Mariners are going to go for it, just as the Mariners said. The Mariners have taken on money, just as the ownership told them they could do. And they are going for this thing, adding Eugenio and Naylor, something that we talked about, about 2 months ago, month and a half ago, when the whole thing kind of started. Like, hey, man, if you're going to go big. Go big. Don't go just for one. If you got an opportunity to go get both, look at what this can do to your lineup. Life's funny, Salk. Life's about timing, right? The last time I was sitting here in our studio at the VMAC, I was sitting right where Mora was sitting, and it was on the precipice of Gray Zabel being picked and just losing my mind. And hopping.
Terrifying Wyman above.
Yeah, I mean, Wyman was on this side, and he's like you, Salk. His neck's all jacked. He's got pinched nerves. He can't look this way.
I get
that way. He's, he tries to contain his emotions much like you do.
Yep.
But I was going crazy. Last night, if I was in here, or as I am just hours after that happened, I'm super excited. I don't, baseball's such a funny game. Gino's such an up and down player. I'm super stoked for this. This is the right move. Now they've got to go out there and produce. Right? I mean, now
it's on them.
Now it's totally on the guys in the field.
Yes, I would agree with you on that. Like, the front office has done what it needed to do to make this a legitimately threatening playoff-style lineup. There's nothing else you could reasonably ask the front office to do for this lineup. Could you do one? Sure, yes. I'm not saying it couldn't get better, and, it might not be number one in the league, but you've now made this a very threatening lineup where 1 through 7 at the very least, and if you get Robles back, 1 through 8, you're talking about veteran hitters that have produced in the past, that have had hot streak, that are a threat to the other team. Not 1 through 4, not 2 through 5, 1 through 7. And again, you get Robles back, and if he's what he was last year at some point, you're talking 1 through 8. That is all you can reasonably ask of the front office.
Oh, and by the way, to do so without, the names that we've been talking about. Oh, what about Felnine, Celestine? What about Arroyo? What about you're going to have to give up Logan Evans?
One of these guys might turn into something. That's fine. But for where you're at right now, you didn't give up jack squat. You haven't done anything. I mean, Locklear's fine.
I feel bad for Jack. How do we know he was a bad squatter? Like, he always gets ripped into that Jack squat. How do you know that? That's just not fair to Jack.
I think it's because you're not allowed to say Jack something else. Let's be clear.
Yeah, I mean, valuation-wise, this is nothing that anybody was talking, right?
Yeah, and
so did Arizona overplay their hand?
I think that, look, they're rental players.
Right.
Rental players are what they are in today's society, today's baseball world. They're only worth so much. They picked up 2 premier rental bats and a decent rental arm. We'll talk a little bit more about Caleb Ferguson, who's a good lefty. He's not incredible, but he's a good lefty. And all you give up is Tyler Locklear and 5 pitchers. You've probably only heard of 2 of them. Like, let's be clear. You've probably only heard of 2.
I had heard of Izzy. You watch your mouth.
No, you had not.
Yes, I
You had not. That's a lie. That's a flat lie.
Ashton Izzy, I had studied his next
no, you
level
had not.
baseball.
You've heard of Jeter Martinez, who thankfully is out of the organization. The idea that they even had someone named Jeter was disgusting to me from the very beginning. So I couldn't be happier. Of all the things the Mariners have done in the last 36 hours, getting rid of a guy named Jeter was the best thing they've done. I've hated that guy since the moment they signed him.
I so love trade dedeadline Salk. I love you.
My favorite
trade
day of the year.
Trade deadline Salk is
my
like
favorite
NFL
day of the year,
draft
baby.
Brock.
My favorite day of the year.
Hey, Brock.
Yes.
Hey, Brock. Where did Ashton Izzy go to school? Where did he go to college?
He went to SMU, Lyle. He was a Mustang.
False. He did not go. He did not go to college. Trick question.
I like the confidence. I knew he was a high school kid, to be honest. So now what? Now you got to go do one more. I mean, like they still have all of the assets they need, the whole arsenal. If they want to go get another leverage arm to add to this bullpen, which again wouldn't have helped last night, right? Like that was not the problem last night. That's for sure. It was the bats and some starting pitching, and maybe you still think they need a starting pitcher. I don't know, but if they can go get a leverage arm today, and by the way, I think there's only one available. I'm just looking through it. I would be because Duran went yesterday. I would be surprised if Minnesota is willing to trade both Duran and Jax. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I'd be surprised. And they do have a couple other good relievers, right? We've talked about Colomb, et cetera. But those guys are, let's still call them middle relievers as opposed to leverage relievers. And I would be surprised if they were to trade both Duran and Jax. So for now, let's take Jax off the board.
Okay.
Cleveland just traded Paul Sewald, and their highest leverage arm was cheating, and sold himself to the devil. So let's allegedly take Cleveland off the board.
No Cade Smith either.
I don't think so. I mean I don't know. I would think Cleveland's out.
Okay.
I think that Minnesota is out. And I think that really, if you're talking about a leverage arm, the only guy left is David Bednar. So, by the way, I like Bednar, right? But that's
Pittsburgh, right?
Yep, Pittsburgh closer. We didn't get a chance to see him, right, Lyle, when they played against Pittsburgh, because we didn't get a chance to see any of the.
I mean, every game
relievers.
was 1-0, 0-1, 1-0, but still didn't get to see him.
Do you know much about Bednar, Lyle?
Other than. Again, he's really good. He had a down year last year, but for like 4 of the last 5 years, he's been one of the better relievers in baseball.
He would be your high leverage arm. He'd be right there with Brash and Mooney, right?
I think so. I mean, I think he's a notch below Mooney, maybe a notch below Brash. But
and then Ferguson is right there with Spire.
Probably a touch below, and they do different things. Spire's going to strike guys out. This guy is going to get ground balls and give up some contact, but not going to give up the home run ball. He's only given up 1 all year. And now you're going to take them and put them into this ballpark. So, yeah, I mean, like, those are 2 guys you can feel comfortable using in spots where right now you might be using Vargas or Legumina.
But this is cherry on top, right? I mean, this is cherry on top. You ordered your dessert. You've added the whip.
I don't think it is.
You've added the whipped cream.
No.
You got the hot fudge.
No, I disagree.
You got that good little sundae that you grew
I think
up
if you're
going to
bother ordering a sundae, you might as well get this. If you're going to go to McDonald's and get a Big Mac and a large fries and break your diet, you might as well get the regular Coke instead of the diet. Like, you're in for a penny, in for a pound.
You ever go double Big Mac?
I have, but not since I was in high school.
Okay.
Like 2 Big Macs for $2?
No.
We used to do that in high school.
One of our assistant coaches said
double Big Mac.
Yes.
So you just add more patties to it without adding more bread.
Correct.
I like that move.
Yeah.
But if you're going to do it, don't get a Diet Coke at the end of that. Splurge and get the real thing. Like, you're already sucking down calories.
Sure.
You're already eating all that disgusting fat and grease and lard and everything else.
Well, what do we got, 9 hours?
Just get yourself a real Coke.
9 hours? Is that what we got?
9 hours,
today?
3 o'clock today. And I would say if I'm the Mariners and I've already done all this and I love everything they've done, you might as well go get one more. You might as well go get one more.